Good day, my name is Tabero, and today I'll be showing you how to check for the payment reference numbers for different tax types. So starting with VAT, so you open the statement of account for VAT, and if you check there on the summary information on your top right, this VAT balance for period 2025-11, which is the last period submitted, if the balance is the same as this amount here, it means this is the only period for that outstanding amount. But if this amount was different from the closing balance on top, then it would mean that some of the amount are under the other periods, which means you'll not only send a one payment reference number, you'll need to check the other period to get the other reference numbers, because for VAT and EMP 201 and IRP 6, each period has got its own different tax reference number. So for this amount, you'll then check here under transaction description, here where it says VAT balance tax period 2025-11. If you go on top there, you'll go to where it says return, and on your left, the column there says transaction reference. This is the reference number for this return. So where it says return and then this reference number, this reference number is for this period that says VAT balance period of 2025-11. So we start with the return and reference number, and then the payments or the penalties until VAT balance and for that tax period. So this is the reference number for the tax period 2025-11. And also, if you were looking for the tax reference transaction reference number or payment reference number for 2025-09, this would be the reference number for 2025-09 VAT return. This would be the reference number for 2025-07 return. So you'll then copy this transaction reference number as it is and paste it on the email to send to the client, including the amount that this transaction reference relates to. So you'll put the total amount and the reference number. And that's it on how to check the payment reference number for VAT. So to check the payment reference number for EMP 201 or for payee, you'll then go to the statement, and then you'll scroll up. The closing balance for this period is 37, but this then this includes the unallocated payments which were subtracted from the 2026 balance and 2025 balance. So you'll then scroll down to check that this amount, whether it relates to one period or to more than one period, so that you get the reference numbers according to the tax periods. So you'll scroll down. When scrolling down, you'll be checking the balances for these periods. For example, let's start on this period, balance tax period for 2025-06. If you highlight balance tax period for 2025-06, you'll see that the balance here is 0. Then you'll scroll down. Balance for 2025-07 is that amount. It's R1.77. So that is the first amount that is outstanding, is R1.75, and the the payment reference number for this amount is this one on top here. And then you'll scroll down again to check the other balance. Balance for 2025-08, it's 0. Balance for 2025-09, it's 0. Balance for 2025-10, it's 0. You'll scroll down. Balance for 2025-11. There's an amount under 2025-11 is 3,437.84. So you'll also take that amount and also copy the reference number for this amount. You must make sure that you're copying everything thing. So you'll highlight everything and copy, and then you'll go to the last one. It's balance for 2025-12, which has that amount is 35,299.62. So you'll copy that amount and then also copy the transaction reference number, which will be the payment reference number. So on this statement of account for pay, we've got 3 reference numbers. We've got 3 outstanding amounts. So you don't just take the total amount, which is here under cumulative balance, and take the latest payment reference number, because the other amounts will then go to unallocated payments. So these amounts will not be allocated because the reference numbers will not be corresponding. So you take each outstanding amount and match it with the correct payment reference number, so that when the client pays, they pay accordingly and pay this amount on the correct payment reference number to avoid unallocated payments. So once you are done, then you'll then send all the tax reference number with all the outstanding amounts. And that's all on how to check the payment reference numbers for Pay As You Earn. So you'll then go to check the payment reference numbers for IRP6. So with IRP6, the payment reference number, so for example, on IRP6 we've got 2 periods per year. So if it's 2025, like the statement is for 2025, we've got 2025 first period, 2025 second period. So for example, this statement now has got no balance, but for example, here where it says balance provisional tax period 2025-01, this is 2025 first period. So if there was an amount here, let's say 5,000 rands, and then you'll go down, it says balance provisional tax period 2025-02, which is 2025 second period. If there was an amount here for 2,500 rands. So when you send the payment reference numbers to the client, you'll scroll down, and here where it's got the summary provisional tax, then it says payment reference number, it's got numbers there, and then where it says MM, that MM is for the period like 01 or 02. That YYYY is for the year 2025, 2024 or 2026, depending on the statement that you are looking at. So for example, if we were going to send for 2025-01, we said there's a 5,000 balance, for example. So you were going to write all that, to copy everything here and then write them as they are, and then under M, where this MM, you'll change that MM and put 01 for first period. YYYY, you'll change that and put 2025. Then for the second period, you'll do the same. You'll put the amount is 2.5, put the same reference number, but change the MM to 02, change YYYY to 2025. And that's all on how to check the payment reference numbers for provisional tax or IRP6. And lastly, to check the payment reference number for income tax. Income tax reference number does not change, whether it's for 2024, 2023 or 2022. It does not change. It stays the same. It's on the at the bottom of the first page where it says income tax payment advice, payment reference number, it's always the same. So you'll copy that payment reference number and put the amount per the statement and send to client. So for VAT and the EMP 201, you can check the payment reference number on the actual return, but I would advise that you check on the statement so that you do not only focus on one period, but you check all the periods that got outstanding payments, so that when you send to client, you are not sending one period, but you are sending all the periods. And that's all on how to check the payment reference numbers for all the tax types. Thank you.